I have props, and I know that's always exciting for me. So I want to talk about racks, and this was just going to be a talk about specific kinds of racks, but no, it's going to be more than that because I don't have that many damn props. So most people that play pool or have played pool are familiar with this. This is the plastic triangle that you would find in most bars, especially back when I first started playing. Pretty flimsy, whatever, but it will hold the balls into a rough triangle shape. And you can rack the balls. This is what, like I said, I think most people starting out, this is what they kind of run into, is this thing. It's flimsy, it doesn't hold the balls very well, whatever. But you can do a triangle shape. If you're playing 9-ball, you can do a diamond shape. If you're one of those people that's playing 7-ball, you can do a roughly circular shape. I always thought the 7-ball rack was really cool looking, by the way. But I'm not a fan of the game. Anyway, so yeah. Other thing that I wanted to say about this rack, besides the fact that it probably costs 3 cents or whatever, and this is why bars have them, is that if you ever want to look like you don't know what the hell you're doing, or otherwise look like a brand new person to pool, do it like this. And put the balls in here like this. That way you're sure that because this is angled, that when you pick the rack up, that you're going to disturb the rack that you just made. Be sure to do that if you want to look like you're an idiot. These are not handholds to pick up the thing. These are to, I guess, maybe protect the cloth from potentially sharp edges. And this is also angled, so you can lift it straight up and not disturb the balls. Anyway, there's enough of that. After enough time has passed for a lot of people, maybe they start going to better pool halls, maybe they get a table in their house or whatever, and they get away from that kind of a rack. And when I got my diamond table, it came with this rack. And I was like, man, I am living in the lap of luxury right now. No more of that plastic rack crap. Now I can do triangles, and I can do diamonds, and I can do circular crap with a wooden rack that is in theory not going to flex and stuff like the plastic rack does. And I think that's true. In this case, this rack has not flexed on me. What it has done is it's dented over the years. It's wood. Wood is not as hard as a ball, and it's just dented. So it became harder and harder to get a good rack, good tight rack. When I started playing games like One Pocket and all that, where it seemed to me like it was really important to get a good tight rack, it didn't work that well with this thing. So I did just a little bit of research, which basically means I went to AC Billiards and looked to see what threads they had. And everybody recommended this guy. This is a Delta 13 rack. This is metal. It is a triangle. It is, according to the marketing, scientifically engineered and built and all that, and will last a million years. And I'll just say right here, even though I have more props, this is the best rack I've ever used. It's not even close. They're not a sponsor, but I would absolutely accept their sponsorship because I think it's a fine product. The nice thing about this is it doesn't flex, just like the wooden rack. It doesn't flex, but it also doesn't dent. And I've had this thing for 4 or 5 years, and I can put the balls up in a push, and I can look, and there's not going to be any gaps. It's a good rack. I guess if I had to pick a negative about this, and it's not that much of one, is if they put these, I don't know, concave parts in the sides, I guess probably to reduce the weight of the thing, but what it really does is it amplifies the sound. So this is a very, very loud rack. I'm told there are things you can buy or put in here to deaden the sound a little bit. I don't have anything like that. That's just what I've heard. So those are, I guess, what you would call, the standard racks. And I've just realized I'm missing a prop. Oh, there it is. So I'm going to go and get my other prop, and then we'll talk some more. Right there. All right, so this damn thing, for those of you who've never seen it before, I don't think they were in business for very long, is a Sardo tie rack. The theory behind this is that you do all this crap and you shove the balls in and you do this and you take this off, and it's a perfect rack every time. It's not a perfect rack every time. Maybe the first few times. But the fact that you have to train your cloth, that's what they say, you have to train your cloth. That basically means you have to put a divot in. In my case, they said, do this, rack it up right, and then put some weights on this thing to push it down, to push all the balls down, and basically form some permanent divots in your cloth. After a while, you start to, you break this 5-ball, while right now it might just have one divot, it's going to get a little bit longer as the cue ball keeps slamming into it. So there's going to be a divot right here that is elongated instead of just a little dot. Anyway, so I like the thought that these guys tried, but I believe that they failed at what they were trying to do. The whole point of that rack, one of the whole, there's two that I can think of, is they're trying to make a consistent rack because some people cheat. Some people manipulate the rack, and they're up here and they're trying to not eliminate gaps. They're trying to create little gaps so they know what's going to happen and they can control what's going to happen. Some people do that. And the other part of the people that I kind of call the whiny crybabies, is they want it to be 100% perfect every time, and if it's not, re-rack. Because, oh my God, the equipment, the rack wasn't straight. Dennis broke and ran on me only because of this of the rack was crappy. So you got the people that cheat on one side, and you got the people that can't stand any imperfection whatsoever in a rack. And that Sardo was kind of built to try to eliminate the cheaters and get the whiny crybabies to shut up. Like I said, decent idea, just didn't work. At one time, and this is weird, and this is the only time I've ever seen this, is I picked up this thing somewhere. This is called a Top Rack Pro. This deal, you basically put the balls in a triangle, I guess, with your hands. This does not go all the way down. And you push or something, and then you can just take this off. This is absolute crap. It doesn't do anything except put them in a triangular shape, which I could have done with this thing. That's just my opinion. I'm sure they're fine people. And they had an idea, it just didn't work. So, yeah. Another thing, and this kind of crap has become much more common over the last several years, are these doohickeys. This one happens to be for 9-ball or 10-ball, but they have, full 15-ball versions. I have one around somewhere, but you carefully place this thing where you want it, and then you carefully put all the balls up here into those little holes in this damn thing, and hope you don't accidentally move it, because if you do, then you have to start over again. And you get all these here, and then you go at it with your fingers and all this, in theory trying to eliminate all your gaps. This ball racks very well. Nice uniform rack. Very seldom is there ever any kind of a gap. Nobody can complain, right? I can complain. In an awful lot of games, you don't clear this area when you break. There might be a ball stuck there. Matter of fact, this is kind of designed, like in this case right now, that one ball is probably going to stay in the middle of the rack. All the other balls spread out, that middle ball will stay. Anyway, so you do all that, and you got to either leave this on the table, or you have to somehow figure out how to get it off the table so it doesn't interfere with the play. The reason I can play, maybe the reason I can play, is it interferes with the play as soon as you break. As soon as you break, balls start jumping out of these little divots. That affects what just happened with that ball. Instead of just moving, it did a little jump. Ball can go 4 rails, come around, hit this plastic, which has some thickness to it. It's not much, but it has some. It affects things. Watch enough pro videos, you will see there's an awful lot of 10-ball being played with racks like this. You will see balls come down and hit these little things and take a curve just like that because of the stupid rack. Again, good idea. They're trying to eliminate the cheaters, at least make it tougher for them. They're trying to get the whiny crybabies to shut up. But now the whiny crybabies, which is me in this case, are whining that this damn thing is in my way. It's affecting the play, and until I can get it off the table, it's affecting the game. Don't like it, never will like it. This could potentially come in handy for bank pool for me, but like for one pocket, and they could, they make a 15-ball version of this for one pocket. Guess what? You break in one pocket, you got a whole bunch of shit still there. You also shoot a bunch of stuff slowly. And you don't want anything interfering with what you just shot. These kind of racks do it. So that is the last prop that I own. The only other one that I wanted to talk about is, well, somehow worse than this. And I don't even know how they do it or what they are, but it's like the equivalent of maybe putting like a little drop of super glue or something at all these spots down here. So you essentially have not just divots, not permanent divots, but permanent little ridges in the cloth, little bumps in the cloth that you can rack all the balls against. Who are these people that say, oh, that's a good idea, let's put little bumps all over the cloth down here? Those will never affect anything, because no bump has ever affected any ball rolling ever. I don't know who these people are. I don't know what they sell this kind of crap for, but it's too much. They're charging too much. No matter what it is, they're charging too much because it is screwing up the table on purpose and permanently, or at least until the cloth is redone. I don't understand that. I probably never will. I don't want to understand that. I do know that were I a top player, one of those guys that goes to tournaments and shit like that all around, I will never play with one of those in one of those setups where you had to have permanent little bumps in your damn cloth just to basically shut the mining crybabies up. Oh, I can't have any gaps. No, live with a gap. I'd rather have a gap than have little bumps in my cloth that are going to affect stuff all the time. Maybe just me. Don't think it's just me. I get riled up about some of this stuff. All right, so beep.